Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm Nick England, joined by Matt Prosser, and it is that time of the year. It is volleyball season. It is day one, event one for the NVA. Matt, I am stoked to be back. How are you feeling about this?
Nick, couldn't be more excited to be here myself. Very amped and ready to go for this morning, day one of a 6-event season here for the NVA, so it's very exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. This is a heck of a first match. There's quite a journey ahead of one of our newest teams, the Seattle Sasquatch. During the offseason, we've added 2 brand new teams. That's the Seattle Sasquatch and the Colorado Kraken. And they've got to start the season off against the OC Stunners. And man, if you want to see where you're at, this is absolutely the heat check match.
Well, it's also a bit of a wake-up call. You know, it's coming up on 9 a.m. here on the West Coast, so these 2 teams are finishing up their warm-ups. But yeah, very excited to have those new squads on board for the 2022 season, and we should see a good match from both of them today. However, this one going up against the Stingers is a bit of a tall order to start the season off, but better to get the ball rolling and find out where you are and keep working towards the rest of the season.
It certainly is, and just to talk a little bit of rosters right now, the Stunners have returned the majority of the players that won them that gold medal just last season. You know, we'll see some notable names today. Many of them are still overseas, guys like Corey Chavers, Joey Jarvis, Josh Eisenberg. They're not all back just yet. The newly added Keenan Sanders in the middle played with the VNL team under USA last year, so a lot of firepower coming back to the roster, but you can expect to see names like Matt Hilling, who just returned 3 days ago from Israel. We see Jair Santiago after a stint with the Puerto Rican national team, so they're also going to use some of that bench depth today, so a variety of new faces out there, so it'll be a good time to see. On the side of the Sasquatch, there's one name on this roster, unfortunately not here just yet, but I think that's stirring some buzz, and that's supposedly we're going to see Matt West return and represent his hometown of Seattle, currently a setter for the Bundesliga over in Germany on the Berlin Recycling Volleys, the #1 seed over there, so he's in the middle of a playoff run currently, so hopefully we'll see him rejoin the Seattle team at a later time. Otherwise, we're going to have a lot of eyes on #7 and #9 for Sasquatch on the outside. That's where they're going to rely on a lot of point scoring today.
Yeah, I mean, again, both teams a little bit thin, and we're going to see that throughout the weekend. A lot of players still finishing up their professional obligations and responsibilities overseas. But for Seattle, you know, again, a new team, trying to see what kind of talent they have up there and what they're trying to put together as a program. So, yeah, until Matt West comes back, which will be later in the season. However, you know, the guys here are the guys here, and they've got to find a way to win and score some points and start figuring it out.
Absolutely, and a quick callback to what we saw this time last year. Dallas Tornadoes was one of the new teams entering the league, and so we saw them, you know, there's a little bit of that wake-up call that they had at the same time, and while they finished the season maybe not where they would have hoped at that time, they were certainly looking like a lot better of a team at the end of the season than at the beginning.
Well, you know, the old saying, it's a marathon, not a sprint, right?
Yep.
So 6 events, you've got a full season to try to kind of get your pieces together. This is match #1 of you know, I believe 12 matches for the year, so they've got plenty of time to kind of see what they're at, take a temp check, right, and you know, put some things together throughout the season.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be good to see how they build. And the other thing is, as you kind of get acclimated, it allows you to realize what other talent you might want to grab, where you're at, and it's just like any other traditional sport you see. There's acquisitions going on all the time. LA Rams looking for that Super Bowl run, picking up guys like Odell Beckham right at the end.
Well, and again, all the teams are in the same boat, right? Same with the Stunners. They're very thin. I think they're only going to have maybe 2 or 3 players on the bench for the weekend. So they're lucky to have the players that they do have, as Matt Hilling just got back into town on Tuesday from Israel, and he's playing here today. It's Friday morning, so very fast turnaround for him. But meanwhile, you know, everyone's sort of in the same boat in terms of what their personnel has available to them this weekend.
I can speak to that. Las Vegas Ramblers, I'll be back on the court here at 3 o'clock today and an unexpected return. Got to tell you, that was an interesting discussion. As someone that manages the team to make sure we have enough players, you hit a certain point and it's just, you know, there aren't enough players left.
And we may see quite a few players playing out of their natural position throughout the day, throughout the weekend. So it'll make it for some exciting stuff. We're about to get started here.
Now, one thing we do want to talk about, something we're really proud about, we've added a challenge system. So around the court, you'll see some of these nice Mikasa banners. We'd like to say a huge thank you to our proud ball sponsor, the NVA. Those are helping protect a variety of challenge cameras. And so at any time, the teams are able to challenge. And as that occurs, we'll explain to you exactly how that system's all going to work, but we are underway. Anguzola takes the first ball. Dylan Emery on the outside takes a swing. Noliman to the backside of the Anguzola, and Anguzola on the big attack puts that away.
a Bick in transition right out of the gates for the Stunners. That's a good sign for them, but we will expect to see a lot of action to Anguizzola throughout this match.
Noli Mon, number 1, the setter, a San Diego native, actually attended high school with myself and Michael Keegan of the Ramblers, so it's cool to see another guy out here. A tip attempt there from number 6, that's McCracken, goes just wide, misses the hands.
Not quite the in-system play that the Sasquatch was looking for their first side-out attempt, but still a long way to go here in this match, Nick.
It certainly is. And a quick note, we talked about Matt Hilling there. He is actually, I talked to him for a moment before the match. McCracken gets a kill in the corner. Welcome to the NVA. Stats his first kill. But Matt Hilling decided that, so he looks like he's going to be setting this match. So I believe Noli Mon's going to run the first set as a setter. Hilling might come in the second. They're kind of just finding what's going to flow. As a result, that means their second opposite. Dylan Emery playing outside here as well with Jair Santiago in the starting right side slot.
Well, both teams do have very experienced players, so a bit of interchangeability, if you will, Nick. So we'll see some players maybe playing out of position, but right there, Dylan Emery with a nice block on the wing, pairing up with Shane Beamer.
Love to see that too. That's one of those interesting little technique pieces when you see an opposite playing on the outside, and that rotation 1 where they're back in their natural habitat. Things kind of click very naturally, so good look for Emery there. Emery with a float, takes it deep. Great pass, Sasquatch in system. Big swing from number 7, Peter Silva with the kill.
Well, for the Sasquatch, they have to stay in system on their offense. They've got to pass the ball well enough that they can run 4, sometimes 3 or 4 options right on offense. So good to see, the production of Silva right there, McCracken, and kind of what they're trying to do, but they have to pass the ball to stay in system.
Yeah, certainly the case. Floats are taken by Emery. Middle attack to Beamer. It's going to be a chaos ball if they can bring it back. But Gallahan not able to track that one down there, number 10. Interestingly enough, we didn't see too much of Shane Beamer last season. Number 3 there, UCSD Triton, who went overseas, played in Denmark, and at the end of the season was the MVP middle blocker for that. So it was pretty impressive last season to see him not even starting with Nick Amato in the roster. But now with Nick Amato's absence as he is coaching Long Beach State, Shane Beamer getting a chance to really show why he is a top middle in the league.
It also shows and speaks to the depth of the Stunners roster as well.
Certainly does. That swing's going to be over, or just over the line. Beamer looking for another serve now. Float taken. Outside is the option. Into the triple block, but that's going to be a kill for Peter Silva, working some magic there, attacking the block aggressively. Peter Silva coming out the gate early.
That's a big, strong attack by Peter Silva. Anguizzola not quite there to close that 3-man block, but Silva finding that kind of seam between those two.
We saw this a bit during warm-ups. McCracken's a guy with a big arm. The big thing for him is, can he control that and find the court? We see an aggressive jump serve there, but goes way long. So.
Well, again, Nick, that fine line, right? Aggressive serving, trying to get the other team out of system, but not just giving them a free point. So toughen in.
And I got to tell you, it is certainly, you talk about balancing that fine line. Jair Santiago, someone that blows right past that line, and I couldn't be more on time with that that assessment. He's someone that really believes in going for ace or error and wants to end the point before it even begins.
Well, yeah, Jair, one of the biggest arms in the NVA. That time nearly took out our up official. But he does have a cannon that we will see throughout the season starting today.
Another serve going long. The battle of the missed serves. Men's volleyball, very prevalent here at the NVA. Anguizzola, someone that loves to attack down the sideline, see if he's targeting that 5-6 seam. Sasquatchian system. Little tip over the top, and if we've seen anything from the Stunners before, Jair Santiago is someone that is the true embodiment of an opposite. He plays all offense, and there's a little bit lacking defense, so Cole comes through with that tip over the top of Noliman, gets the kill.
Yeah, Cole with some good vision, realizing that he's got the advantage over the block and is able to throw that ball down. But yeah, back row players have to be ready for that off-speed shot.
Bailey with a jump serve. Good pace on that, handled by Shigikawa. Emery misses the contact he wants there, but finds the touch on the block. Nick West, another aggressive server. Someone that's had some of the most international experience in the league. Former Hawaii native. Wow, huge swing from number 9, Sam Cole. Well, we were certainly we were curious as to what kind of, the information that we had coming into this was keep your eye on the outside. That's what we really knew about the Seattle Sasquatch team. And I got to tell you right now, Peter Silva and Sam Cole are delivering. They're putting a lot of balls away right now.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. I mean, nobody really in the NVA knew what to expect from the Sasquatch. And right now, Stunners are seeing that they may have their hands full, and they're really going to have to focus on their block and defense to get the matchups they want against these Sasquatch outside hitters and put them in a bit of trouble with trying to get them out of system with their passing.
Noliman now to float. Attacking the backside on Cole. Middle to Gallahan, and just a misconnection there. It's a tough misconnection there, but I am a firm believer, and I'm sure as a former middle blocker you feel this way too. I'd rather miss in the middle finding that connection than not run the middle at all. Keep Shane Beamer honest on the side of the Stunners. Definitely going to be an important part to keeping the outside offense effective.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more, Nick. It's definitely better to run it and not get the connection just to try to establish it than to not run it at all.
And Cody McCracken, another big swing. We are seeing the outside swing right now, whether it be the opposites or the outsides, being untouchable for the Seattle Sasquatch. Cole puts some pace on the ball. Well, if there's one thing that is certain, it's that Seattle Sasquatch is ready to jump serve and live or die by that. They've missed a couple long so far, but there's something to be said for new gym. Pretty open in here, and finding
travel day yesterday, legs, maybe a little tired still. Got a light training last night, serve and pass, but yeah, new gym, kind of new environment, trying to figure it out still.
Flow down the line. Another middle attempt, and that's what it's all about. We said sometimes that connection's not pretty, but they're working hard to get it. We love to see that, and that was a good pass by Damian Higashi, number 4. Haven't said his name yet. Libero getting involved.
Well, you see the setter for Sasquatch, McDonald, really trying to run the middle. That was a great chance to do it in the seam against the blockers of Stunners.
Ooh, and there's the first big swing wake-up call. Jair Santiago over the block and finds the chin of McDonald. I've got some first-hand experience, playing against Jair Santiago, and let me tell you, there is no one worse to take an unexpected chest or face shot from. That guy puts pace on the ball.
Now that one caught McDonald right in the chin.
Beamer going deep. Shane Beamer, another one of those guys that's really got a fairly terminal serve, a very aggressive jump server when he catches that just right. A ton of movement on the ball makes it very difficult to pass, but doesn't quite connect there, and that's going to put number 6, Cody McCracken, back to jump serve once again.
A few too many service errors throughout this first set, Matt. Nick, it's 13-9. Stunners are in charge, but that's 3 or 4 straight service errors from both sides. So, trying to find that rhythm from the inline, it can be tricky. You don't want to live and die by your serve, but you got to put it in and try to find some system.
And there you see it. Jair takes a little bit off, makes sure he keeps that one alive. Another triple block attempt, but a little bit late. And can you talk to everyone at home about when we talk about that triple block being late? You had mentioned earlier Anguzola not quite there. How important is it to get your hands? What are you looking for?
Yeah, I mean, the blocking system, obviously, as soon as the pass comes off the net, they know that they want to get a three-man block up in front of the one hitter that's going to hit. The wing blocker that's the third one over has to work harder than all the other ones to cover the most distance, but then also still get his hands over the net. And 2 times there, we've seen Emery get all the way there, but then not get his hands over, so the ball gets down between him and the net, unfortunately resulting in a point for the Sasquatch.
Great assessment. If you're a young guy at home that's, playing that outside position, want to learn what triple blocking is all about, you got an All-American Long Beach State middle blocker and former AVP player here giving you live advice, so take note. Ooh, nice pickup in the back row by Silva. Ooh, McCracken just swinging wide. Love that defensive move there from number 7. Peter Silva gets the one-handed scoop.
Nice defense. We're seeing glimpses of quality touches from Sasquatch, right? Nice dig, couple run of sets through the middle, some good attacking from the left side, just trying to put all the pieces together.
And Gizzola attacking that line once again. Jair Santiago takes the free ball. Mon goes back to West. West covers himself, and Mon pokes it over. A little bit of a reset backside. Jair Santiago on the D-ball gets the touch, but McCracken unable to come up with a dig. And I believe that is going to be a technical timeout for us here at 16. So quick breakdown. Technical timeouts occur every match at 16 points. Both teams have 2 timeouts they can call at any point during the match. Now, a quick update that we've had for the NVA, we've decided that in the case that you call a timeout prior to 16, that means that no technical timeout will be called. That's going to keep the pace of the game moving along nicely. So we thought that was going to be something that would, just keep the fans at home a little more dialed in.
Very common to see, no timeouts before 15 points, then a technical timeout. If a timeout is called by either team, that technical timeout goes away. 2 timeouts per team per set. Very excited to see the challenge system get implemented here into the NVA this season. But so far, Nick, what are you seeing from Sasquatch that they need to continue to do to stay within striking distance here, the Stunners?
I honestly impressed by the outsides. I think they're passing well. They're swinging into triple blocks effectively. Their approach lines look great. Out of system, in system, doesn't matter. They're being effective. Love to see it. I really want to see more of what Damian Higashi in the libero jersey, what he can do. Stunners paying a lot of respect, not targeting him at all, so haven't really seen much yet there. And if we know anything about the NVA, it's that it is littered with dominant liberos, some of the best in the country. So, big challenge. Before the match, I heard him talking to their coach, and he was saying, it's exciting to be here. This is my first pro match, and he was kind of feeling the moment, reveling in it a bit, and it's great to see new guys getting that opportunity to show their stuff on a stage like this.
Absolutely. It's great and very exciting to have professional men's volleyball here in the United States. Giving these guys a chance to play is something that I didn't get a chance to do as a younger volleyball player, so it's very exciting to be a part of it here.
It really is, and that's what it's all about. I think for guys like us that we had our time in the sun, and now it's all about how do we keep giving back, and the 16-year-old at home, like how do we make that future, and that's what the NVA is all about. And it's exciting to see steps like that and new teams coming in. Jair Santiago now on the backside. There's a touch. Can it be tracked down? McCracken unable to do so. A great jump serve there from Colton Bailey, and a nice defensive touch, but not quite able to be brought back for the Seattle Sasquatch.
Again, seeing just sort of glimpses of the heat that Jair Santiago can bring from the back row, that time going down the line. So his vision, we've known, has always been very good. We saw it last year, but over the offseason, he played a lot of time with the Puerto Rican national team, so you can see his game continuing to develop as well.
Good take by West off of a big serve. Now Beamer misses just wide. Something you mentioned and we've talked a little bit about is the challenge system. So the way I just want to, there was some discussion through the net there if there was a net or a touch. So to break that down, what you can expect. Both teams have been granted 3 challenges for the first 4 sets of the match. The way that will work is there are certain challengeable calls, things like back row attack, touches on blocks, whether a ball lands in or out, is there a foot fault, certain challengeable calls. And what that allows for is that you can go up top. We have an official system that can review one of our 16 cameras, see what occurred, and we will then either overturn the call in the court or keep it. In the case that a call is kept, therefore your challenge is incorrect, you lose one of your 3 challenges. If you're correct, you keep it. So it's kind of rewarding you for using them wisely. So we'll keep track of that if it comes up here during this match.
And in Game 5, you get an additional challenge.
That is correct. No, regardless of how many you have going into the fifth set, so even if you still have 2 left over, it goes to 1 and abides by the same rules. You make it, you take it. Good point by Sasquatch there, able to defend the court and stave the stunners off. Cole back to jump serve once again. Big serve. Shigekawa takes some off, and it's going to be a tip alive from Emery. Bump set back. Silva in transition, a one-handed scoop from Shigekawa, but no movement from Jair Santiago to track that one down. Can't say it enough. Sasquatch right now on the backs of Silva and Cole. Absolutely showing a great debut for the Sasquatch.
Yeah, Cole with a great jump serve from the inline, putting pressure on the stunner's passing reception.
Shigekawa catches the ceiling, but it's still in. Emery with a left-handed swing. Covered here. Higashi goes outside to Silva once again, but dug by Shigekawa. Jair Santiago in transition. A big swing and gets the cross court out of bounds, rewarded for his hard work. And Shigekawa showing up with some in-transition defense.
Great defense from Shigekawa and a great high swing by Jair in transition. He had a good block formed in front of him. You can see him go high off the hands. It's such a good skill to pick up. In transition, when you get a swing, blast it off the hands and score the point.
Emery goes with the aggressive float. A little bit of miscommunication there. I think Sam Cole was not sure if that was in or out. Hands came up a little late.
Well, from my angle, Nick, that ball was going to be in.
Yeah.
So for Cole, go for it. Take it. Be sure about it. Even if you're not sure if it's in or out, go play it. Be aggressive. Get the ball up to the net so your team can get a chance to side out.
Couldn't agree more with you, Matt. But, you know, sometimes as the outside, you just a little bit of hesitation, and it's deer in headlights. No hesitation there. A little spill from the side of McCracken. Big swing, falls into the deep. There's the triple block that the Stunners have been trying to get to work for him. Didn't see what happened there. I think McCracken tripped on their middle, number 10, Patrick Gallahan, coming out of the serve receive there.
Well, it's one of those rotations where 2 front row players have to pass each other.
Yeah.
And that time McCracken and Gallahan just kind of probably tripped each other, it looked like.
Yeah. Oh, just trickles over. Higashi bump sets to the outside. Silva manages the swing, taken by Shigekawa. Back to the pipe attack. That's a little tough right there. We're going to take a quick timeout here from Seattle Sasquatch. But that's one of those ones you see the passing move that you talk about. You know, when you swing into the corners, the responsibility of the 2 defenders. Your wing digger is going to cross in front of your middle back defender. That way, if one of them misses the ball, the other one's able to pick it up. A little miscommunication there, and that's why those corners are so effective.
Right. Aiming for the corners is always a great spot to hit as the hitter, okay? For the defenders, and I know this is the first time they're seeing these players from Stunners and where their tendencies are, right? But over the season, they're going to get to know each other well enough and see videos and be able to watch these matches, which are archived on YouTube for everybody to see, where the defenders need to go based on who's hitting the ball, right? And sort of sliding in front of each other, covering the same area, making sure they're talking about who's got angle, who's got, you know, float off the line. So it's just a work in progress for the Sasquatch.
It certainly is. You know, I think it would be disingenuous to even insinuate that there's not a little bit of being starstruck here. The OC Stunners has guys that have played in the top leagues all over the world, and to kind of be in the heart of that Orange County volleyball scene, that's known all over the country. And for Seattle, which is not as well known market, there's a lot to be said for coming out and really showing your stuff. But I just love to see how we're seeing the outsides battle Sasquatch. We can't say it enough. Silva just showcasing a wonderful variety of swings, being extremely effective. McDonald's done a great job, honestly, of getting that high set, so he's not really been, the outsides are not finding any traps that when they're even into the triple block, they're getting good, reliable sets, so keep an eye on how well he delivers. Backside to Santiago, and man, that's a tough guy to block one-on-one.
For Silva, I would take a step out on his block and defense there and try to get a little bit more in front of Jair, realizing you know, who the priority is on the block and defense side. I know for the Stunners, they've got 4 hitters coming down at them, especially on a perfect pass, sometimes 5 if the setter's front row. So it's a lot to take in at one time, but really prioritizing their top hitters and who to block against them.
I think your assessment is dead on. McCracken feeds that one through. Uncharacteristic of Nick West, not quite getting over the net there. Very, very unlike him. And now we're going to see a substitution. Ramon Jackson coming in as a serving substitution for McCracken. I like this adjustment here by Coach J-Rod. Ooh, does not pan out for them, but it's one of those things, try something different. McCracken had missed a couple, but McCracken will now make his return, which means that we will not see Ramon Jackson back in this match, or this set, apologies. Jair Santiago hit an off-speed serve last time after a couple missed serves by both teams.
And it's set point here for the Stunners.
There's that same control. Great pass by Sasquatch. And Silva buries the ball.
Again, good awareness by Sasquatch to see the hitter-blocker matchup against the Stunners block, realizing that Silva is paired up against the Stunners setter there, which is the smallest blocker on the court, and really emphasizing that opportunity there, and the Sasquatch side out nicely.
Good pass, going to the middle. I expect to see Nick West put this one away and take the Stunners into set number 2. Alternative option, serve the opposite. We talked a little bit about it. You know, Dylan Emery playing outside today, and while he is a very, very well-versed player, plays a lot of beach, he's a very experienced guy, and he's been training the last 2 weeks to play this outside spot as they realized they'd be shorthanded. He is definitely your target. But there's the pass, there's the middle. Nice dig by Silva, but an overpass, and Nick West puts it away to finish the set number 1. And there it is, Matt. We see, what's the final score? Did you see the final score there? 25-18. You and I talked a little bit about what is our assessment, or what are our hopes? You know, before this, what do we expect to see from this new Seattle team we're not too sure about? And my goal was, I said, I want to see Seattle hit 18 points. That was where I said, you know, if we can see them battle to find that, we're going to be in an okay spot. That'll be, I think, for such a big ask for the first match of their NVA career, I think that would be a respectable response. So we'll see how they come back from that. But what's your takeaway from their first set here?
Well, they've got to emphasize the passing, right? Got to be able to pass the ball up to the top of the antenna, top of the net every single time so they can incorporate their middle attackers, right? We see that Silva and Cole are the 2 big outside hitters, but they didn't set their middles hardly at all, right? And then obviously they have to emphasize service pressure from the inline. They've got to get the opponent in trouble to pass the ball in order to try to get some points from their block and defense.
Absolutely agree with you, but we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back to set number 2 right after this. And we're back. Seattle Sasquatch, OC Stunners. We are ready for set number 2. If you're just joining us in at the office, decide you need a little break from the 9:45 meeting. I'm Nick England. This is Matt Prosser. We're joined by some of our other compatriots in arms. We've got Ira Thor will be joining us throughout the day. So excited to see that. And we're going to have a new face making his appearance today. So everyone at home will get a chance to meet some more of the NVA family later on today. Matt Hilling makes his debut, goes for a float serve, gets the overpass, and that's going to be a back row attack. Back row blocker there from McDonald.
Not the most intimidating jump float serve from Matt Hilling, but effective nonetheless as he goes back for his second opportunity. Good pass that time. And Haley on the left side. Bailey getting the high swing and scoring Sasquatch's first point of set number 2.
Well, your challenge going into, your assessment was, I want to see more middle. Get the pass and get the connection established. So, once again, I love at the beginning of the set to see the middle being the first option. We saw that in set number 1, but we'll see, kind of tapered off there. See if they can get back to it. Sam Cole misses that jump serve there. Emery with a float serve. Ooh. Silva throws one hand out there. Not able to get the reward he would like on the passing.
Something that Dylan Emery brings to this team is that he's left-handed. Okay, so he's serving from the left side of the court, which is a little bit tricky. He puts a little lefty special spin on it.
Yeah.
That probably the Sasquatch doesn't see too often in their practice gym.
Couldn't agree with you more. He definitely likes attacking the 5-6 seam, and when it comes across the court like that, it's definitely something you got to pay attention to if you really want to battle with it. Misses his serve short there, and that's going to put Pat Gallahan to serve, and he goes short as well. But Shigikawa handles it beautifully. Big swing from Jair Santiago. Smooth as lemon butter on the right side, getting lots of kills right now.
Well, you'll notice that Matt Hilling has come into set in set number 2, and realizing where Jair Santiago is in the front row for his team, he feeds him that one nicely.
Great pass there from Cole outside to Silva. Swinging high off the triple. Off the head of Nick West there.
Sasquatch really finding success against the 3-man block of Stunners. So far, that's 3 attempts, 3 kills, and Stunners just can't seem to get that 3-man block really dialed in the right way.
Definitely struggling, but I love that Anguzola is still making the move. You've gotta make the move, keep refining it. Like we said, when you get pieces like Matt Hilling coming back, or some of these guys who are all coming back from overseas, there's a lot of communication that occurs to make triple blocks happen, and so that can kind of just take some time for everyone to get right back on the same page.
And it's also part of your block and defense kind of philosophy. Like, you have to know, as the right side wing blocker, that you've got a third man coming with you, and you got to get all the way to the antenna.
Yep. Santiago getting as close as possible to that line, but no foot fault. Just misses the court wide, just past zone 1, though.
Some of that patented Jair side spin.
Yep. That
time gravity just not letting it fall right on the line, going out of bounds just barely that time.
Silva with control, taken by Anguzola. Set right back to Anguzola, and Nick West doing a fantastic job to freeze the middle block there. And that's going to be a kill for Anguzola, rewarded for a nice pass.
Yeah, I like to call that the give and go in volleyball, right? Where
Yep.
the outside hitter passes the ball perfectly, setter rewards him with that perfect pass, goes right back to him, and he scores the point.
We talk about the versatility of players, and some that we're seeing right now. Number 6, Cody McCracken has, if I'm not mistaken, gone to middle this set, putting number 16, Colton Bailey, as the right side. I could be mistaken on that, but I think that's what we're seeing. But again, trying to use some versatility of the personnel that you've got on the court. And as number 10, Gallahan, comes in, that definitely looks like that's going to be the case. Great pass by Anguizzola across court to Emery, tips over the top. Silva
Emery,
out of middle back, almost finds the pancake there, but not able to do so.
Yeah, Emery using that nice high left-handed tip that time, just right over the block.
Nick West, big jump server. Down the line, nice pass. Higashi taking advantage, and now Emery tipping it once again. Good pickup by Cole, goes to the pipe. Silva swings into the triple block, and once again, it looks like if you see a triple block going from the Stunners right now, and you're the Sasquatch, swing away, close your eyes, doesn't really matter. It's just going to go your way, it seems like.
No, you're totally right, Nick. I mean, that's exactly what they're doing. They're finding success. The Stunners blocking just technique has not quite materialized. Their hands are just not over the net far enough to get the ball back down on the other side.
Set outside, Emery goes down the line, nice dig there. Tight ball, but Hilling seals off the net. Silva takes second ball. And for the first time, we see the Stunners triple block proving to be effective.
Well, I think from my angle, Nick, that ball didn't clear the net, so still yet to see a Stunners three-man block be terminal for a point. However, with Matt Hilling serving now, it might get another opportunity at it.
Hilling comes up short.
Just gave Matt the broadcaster's jinx right there, Nick.
Yeah, that's what we do best. Seeing a couple questions in the YouTube chat right now asking why this roster looks a little different. Well, worry not. Give it one more event, and you're going to see the likes of guys like Corey Chavers, Josh Eisenberg, Joey Jarvis all making their return. They're going to have a new setter in addition to Randy Ramirez making his return, who was their setter last season. So it's going to be the same Stunners roster that's looking to defend their title. But right now they're just kind of making this work and trying out some of the bodies that they've got around. So really not too many changes on our top two teams between the Stunners and the Ramblers. Cole to jump serve. Whew. Put some side spin on that, a little extra something special there. Sends that one way long.
That extra something special side spin, not always effective to keep the ball in the court.
Yeah. Float sails, good pass in system. Silva able to battle. Nope, not quite, didn't have a good angle there. That's gonna be a block there for the Stunners.
So the Stunners, that's their first three-man block. That time, they had time to get there. All their hands, 6 hands over the net, and it results in their first three-man block of the match.
Low pass by Cole, they try to keep it alive. That's tough right now, Sasquatch. So trying to read some of each other's movements. Sometimes feels like they're trudging through that swamp. Feet are stuck, and they just cannot find a way to get it moving.
Now, they're stuck in that one rotation again where their two front row hitters are stacked on the right side of the court. You see Dylan Emery serving into that stack is a good strategy here.
Set to the middle, not over. Oh, they get a touch. Rolled, taken by Shigikawa. Hilling goes backside to Santiago. Santiago finds the antenna, less than happy with that swing attempt, but Sasquatch battle through the point. Float taken by Emery. Push to Beamer. Covered up, and Anguizzola swinging out of system, sends that one long, but I believe there's going to be a net. Oh, touch. He said he didn't touch it. We're going to see our first challenge. Whew. All right. Well, there it is, the inaugural challenge on the NVA. So that means that a green card is hoisted by the coach. That is an official indication of challenge being called. We go up top now, where we have our head ref, Mike Mon, working alongside of our team that runs our challenge system. They will review that play in its entirety, and it will render a judgment a radio is going to bring that on down and give us a notification. So we'll see what that says. And this is an interesting one, Matt, because what the challenge system really does is you have to ask the honesty of your players. Like, there was a conversation that was had there between number 16 Colton Bailey and the coach, and they said, "Did you touch that?" And he said no. So he's about to be proven right or wrong right now. So if he touches it, this is going to see it.
Well, this is what I really love about the challenge system, right? It gets the call correct. And like in this sport, you know, no matter where you're playing it, domestically, internationally, you got to get the call right. Okay, this is professional volleyball. Get the call right. I know it's hard on the referees sometimes to see these tiny little micro touches, but thankfully now with the challenge system, we can get that right. And it might slow the game down here or there. There might be multiple challenges in a set over the course of the match, but get the call right. That's the whole purpose of it, right? So it's great to see. I'm very excited that we have it, and we'll see here whether or not there was a touch on the block. It was called out of bounds by the line judge, so give it a little bit of time here as we kind of work it out and get the call right, though.
Yeah, absolutely, and something that's, you know, it's a little bit of a coming soon. We're working on also integrating that feed into the live stream so that once we have the final visual that indicates whether the call was correct or not, that will be added to the live stream for you guys at home to see exactly what our refs upstairs are seeing, so look forward to that. Looks like, oh, no, we're still looking around a bunch of, ball was out, and there it is. The very first call overturned. Colton Bailey rewarded for his honesty with the coach. Again, like I said, if he's wrong and there's a touch there, it looks pretty bad on him. So this is one of those things where you tell your coach, hey, you know, we all grew up selling your call, but there's cameras on it now. So love to see that.
Well, the first challenge in NVA history goes down as a victory to the Sasquatch, so keeping it close here.
Outside Anguzola. That one's going to be no touch either. Gallahan with the float once again down the line. That one's going to go out just wide. You know, I'd like to see a little bit of a more aggressive serve, but at the same time, my assessment here with the Stunners lineup would certainly be to be serving Dylan Emery as well. And so when you've got a variety of guys hitting jump serves, if you got someone that's kind of putting an accurate and consistent float in to hit the serving target, I do like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you do need to go into a match with that strategy already planned out. However, these two teams playing each other for the first time, still trying to kind of navigate the whole challenge and who they're trying to go after. But I agree with you, Dylan Emery should be the serving target for the Sasquatch side. Meanwhile, for the Stunners, you know, keep going after Bailey, the passers, that, you know, anyone that's in a white jersey, not the libero.
Yep. Talk about the white jerseys, man. Those electric green shorts surely catch the eye. Bailey gets the overpass. Silva swings, kept alive. West free balls it over. Set to the outside. Silva tips over the top, and no one able to pick that up. Man, that is a lot of guy with Jair Santiago coming in at 6'10 or 6'11. Tipping over the top gives you quite a bit of time to make the move. So well handled by Silva, not to get that thrown back at him.
Well, nicely placed. However, you can see Stunners, you know, their blocking defense still kind of coming into, you know, their best form as well. But the service error there from Sasquatch kind of lets them off the hook.
Well, here it is, 13-13 off that missed serve. Sasquatch hanging in with Stunners. Stunners struggling to find a little bit of that consistency right now as well. But I think that the story of the match right now is some missed serves on both sides have kind of removed a sense of game flow, slowing it down a little bit.
Well, all too common in men's volleyball, however. We'll see an out of rotation here by Seattle.
If I had to guess without knowing, it's going to be with number 6 and 16 having Bailey and McCracken switching positions. I would guess that they're lined up incorrectly. McCracken going from opposite to middle, maybe a little bit of an adjustment period there. So seems to be the case. Freebie point you don't see all that often. Santiago hammers another ball, and the pressure is on.
Really nicely hit by Jair there. Attacking the seam between Silva and Cole is such a good spot to serve, right? If you're going to serve and attack, this is one of Jair's favorite serves as well.
Santiago has been doing a lot of serving progression in the offseason. He'll start off with, you know, a little bit of an off speed, something to get him controlling in rhythm. And once he finds that, there it is right there. He's been using more of that. He loves to go start hammering balls. So Sasquatch covers their hitter, barely comes over. Silva has to step in and lay out. Set to the middle. Nick West puts an exclamation point on that kill.
Well, nice to see Matt Hilling choosing to go quick in transition for the Stunners. He hadn't set a whole lot of quick yet as sort of a non-traditional setter, but great opportunity there, and Nick West terminates.
Certainly does, and if I'm not mistaken, that is 16. That is a technical timeout being called. So, you know, we're seeing Seattle answer back, but again, the one thing that bums me out is just when I'm watching the missed serves right now. It's a little hard to tell the state of the game. Is Sasquatch, you know, answering back nicely? Is Stunners underperforming? Because so many missed serves means that the state of the game is kind of just a lot of baby steps. It's always going backwards.
It's a tightrope to walk, you know. How hard do you want to serve to put it in, right, but not easy enough that the Stunners can run their full offense every single time?
Yeah, because if you're not serving the Stunners aggressively, it's not worth serving them, to be honest. With that many weapons, it's, you know, Nick West and Shane Beamer are ready every single time to just smash that ball.
It speaks to the importance of your service pressure on both sides and what you can do to the other team's passing to take them out of system, right, out of rhythm. We saw it on the ace from Jair, and then he goes to the roll shot, and it turned out to be a transition opportunity for the Stunners. So you talk about serve progression, put your first one in, next one make it a little bit harder, next one after that a little bit harder, right, and then kind of, you know, continue to score the points.
Santiago with control out of the technical timeout. Back row attack, triple block. Stunners showing a lot of discipline to see that. They're on top of it, but not able to find the touch. It's been the story of this match, and they're triple block so far.
Well, it's good to see that they are putting up a three-man block every single time they get the opportunity to, so I expect that to really kind of materialize, not just through this match, but through the weekend and then through the whole season. Absolutely.
A little bit of a missed toss, but serve managed. D-ball thrown back by Hilling. And there's going to be a net on the side of Sasquatch. A nice dig there by Peter Silva, battling with the swing. Just unfortunate net, ending the rally early.
A really nice swing by Jair as well. Matt Hilling going against the flow all the way across the court to set his big opposite hitter for the kill.
Anguzola keeps that one in. Backside. And there's some of that interesting, you know, usage of your roster with number 6 there, having McCracken as a middle front row, maybe more of an opposite by nature. They had him swing on the right side there, so kind of put him back in his more natural habitat, gets the kill siding out. And we're going to see a serving substitution now with number 3 making his entry. That's Justin Moy.
Yeah, not very often do you see a team run an offense with no middle blocker coming at you. But you know what? You've got the players. You got to put them in the right places for them to be successful. That's what they just did with McCracken.
Shikawa, perfect passing system. Hilling dumps over the top. Love to see that for him. Haven't seen any dumps yet, really, from the side of the Stunners, other than maybe some on the net blocking moves on tight passes. But the first true dump keeps Sasquatch guessing.
Tricky one to try to stop. Matt going up with 2 hands and basically setting it over. Not your traditional dump, but effective still.
West putting some pace on the ball, but great pass by Silva, tipped over the top. Nick West holding Jair Santiago accountable, understandably so. That's the 3rd tip falling in front of Santiago, and a lack of effort definitely noticed.
When you're in the back row, you have to hit the floor on defense, right? It speaks to your teammates, it speaks to the effort that you're putting towards it, not just on offense, but that it's important to you to work hard in the back row and dig the ball as well.
Yep. It's one of those things you see so many coaches even start with their 14, 12-year-olds, things like that. Just hit the floor regardless. Build that and, you know, ingrain that in players' minds. Ooh, battle with it, keeps it alive and off the ground. Hilling gets the back row option. No blockers up. And that's going to be a kill for Santiago. A little bit of redemption. It's a tough situation. That just speaks to how important it is to find anything but a free ball, giving it back to the other team.
Yeah, you got to make the team work. Leaving Jair by himself, obviously some pressure from the inline here for the Stunners.
Ooh, there it is, a big block. Beamer Santiago sends that back to the ground with a first-class ticket.
Technically a really nice two-man block that time. That set just a little bit too tight. When you're going up against bigger hitters, you got to give your hitter some space to swing.
Silva steps in and battles with a jump serve from Hilling. Now a shot down the line dug by Shigikawa. Santiago's the option once again, but now Sasquatch answering in kind. This is what we want to see. Big swings, big blocks, absolutely handled by Gallahan, number 10 on the side of Sasquatch.
Yeah, great response from Sasquatch. For the Stunners, they've got no one really running out of the back row, offensively speaking, looking for a set. And in that situation, Hilling really only had Jair available, and it wasn't the best perfect in-system transition, resulting in that block. This is Dylan Emery, the lefty, opposite, playing some outside hitter right now. Getting ready to serve. It's 22-17 now for the Stunners, so in control of set number 2.
Goes short, taken by the libero for Sasquatch. Dug by Emery, but not controlled. There it is. Was that, I didn't quite see. Was that Gallahan out of the middle? Love to see it. Once again, talk about the importance. Gallahan with 2 back-to-back points for the Sasquatch. Float serve targeting that seam. Shigikawa more than ready. And Anguizola goes angle.
Good to see him respond with a kill after a couple of hitting errors midway through this set. The young outside hitter from the left side.
Silva with the big swing. Great to see that play develop, and once again, Silva really making a name for himself. You know, that's always one of those exciting things when we're learning these new guys. He's making it known. We got to say his name a lot today, so if you're looking for a new way to be a fan of the Seattle Sasquatch, number 7, giving you plenty of reasons.
Strong attacking from the left side by Silva.
Big swing, Silva once again, he's an animal.
That
Big
time
block
Silva
there.
attacking Jair, going through the arms off of Jair's head, messing up his haircut a little bit, but nice high swing there from Silva again, showing his strength. That's an unfortunate service error. You got a nice run, scored a couple points, kill all of the momentum that your team has by missing that serve.
Yep. Set point now here in the second, 24-20. Santiago hammers that ball. Oh no, Anguizola up a little bit late and just deflects that straight into the net.
Doesn't get much easier than that as the blocker, the overpass coming right into your basket, and you just can't throw it down for the point to end the set. Ouch.
Silva now going after Emery. This is going to be an out-of-system set that goes to Santiago, and Santiago determined to finish the set on his own terms. I love that. Just a big swing, finishes off, takes us to the end of the second set. 25-21.
Watch out below. Jair Santiago just dropping a bomb.
Certainly is.
Seattle Sasquatch to win that set.
Hey, love to see Matt Hilling there, someone that's not naturally a setter. Last season, we saw him play 4 different positions. He played outside, opposite, setter, and libero, so everything shy of middle. If you've ever been curious as to what a well-rounded volleyball player looks like, there it is. In the college world, he only ever got to play community college at Golden West before making his international circuit debuts. Played in Brazil, Israel, and a variety of other countries. Just shows you what you can learn sometimes not in the NCAA system, but getting on the road.
He also plays a lot of beach volleyball during the summers, played in some professional beach events, and being a former beach volleyball player, you do have to be pretty good at a lot of the skills,
Yeah.
especially setting, passing, right, attacking. Matt, that comes pretty naturally for Matt. But yeah, the passing and the setting is good to see that development of his skill set.
It certainly is. Well, that's going to do it for us here at the end of the second set. We'll be right back with the third set. Don't go anywhere. Yeah, you're fine. Okay, where's Silva? 10, he's +6. Okay. Attack 13 total.
Yes.
Jair swinging. Probably Jair Santiago for stunners. Or it's 7 Silva if they somehow come back. And we are back, heading into the third set. You know, Sasquatch continued improving on the scoreboard. I would say that the serving either maintained its level of mediocrity for both teams or potentially took a step back, to be honest about the level there. So hopefully both these teams come back a little bit dialed in. We always talk about that fine line, that balancing act, you know, but it's got to be better, guys.
Well, for Sasquatch, they're kind of dialing their players around a little bit, trying to find that magic formula of who's in what position on the court at what time. And so good response to come back and score 20 points in set number 2 versus 18. But however, just a lot of weapons on the Stunners side. We're going to see a setter change. We might even see Matt Hilling, you know, play outside hitter. But for the Stunners, just keep doing what you're doing. Put service pressure on Seattle. Make them kind of figure it out and see if they can get out of here with a 3-set sweep victory.
Float serve to start here from McDonald. Pond goes to the middle, Beamer right off the get-go. I think that's the third middle set to start every single game. So both these teams love establishing that middle early.
3 of my favorite words, establish the middle. Right?
Float serve from Mon. Bumps that outside. McCracken battling with the block. Shigikawa goes outside, tight ball. It's going to be a managed ball over here from Silva. Mon backside. Santiago tips once again. That's going to be kept alive. Anguizzola now. Emery blocked in the one-on-one. Number 6, McCracken. Cody McCracken taking that away. Stunners looking for a double. What they're missing is that the first contact, regardless, as long as it's one move, cannot be called a double. So it went from platform to face, but was deemed one motion and therefore not a doubleable call.
Well, McCracken with a nice block. Solo on Emery right there. Good move by him.
Emery with a great pass. Jair Santiago gets another chance. Big dig there by Higashi. Emery out. Mon tries to squeeze through. Beamer, misconnection. Saved by Shigikawa. Free ball opportunity for Sasquatch. Quick set to the middle. Tipped over the top. Off Shamer's shoulder. It's got to go right now. Over the top. Taken by Higashi once again. Silva, the man with the plan, can wheel and deal on the outside. Number 7 gets the kill. Long rally ended for Seattle Sasquatch.
Great swing by Silva. The Stunners' block and defense just not materializing tight enough on that outside block. I think we saw Dylan Emery drift a little too far past the hitter. That results in a nice seam for Silva to take advantage of.
Float. Sorry about that. Jump serve goes long. Emery with the float. Swing goes wide. No touch called. It's funny, I'm getting flashbacks right away that's one, if depending on how that call goes, you know a challenge is coming out, or at least the discussions on the teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's early on in this set. It's only 4-2, so I would maybe save it till possibly a later time where it might have a little bit bigger impact. A touch off the block, not a whole lot of argument there.
Float taken by Moy Moy. Jair tries to send it over. A lot of tight scrapping, but Silva's control and composure at the net rewarded with another point. Stunners in a little bit of disarray for these last couple points. When you get to these tight net opportunities, it can be very difficult to figure out who needs to be where, who your setting options are. It's a tough ball.
It's one of those things you really kind of have to iron out in practice and just with familiarity of playing with one another as well.
Certainly is. Ball called down. McDonald unable to find the scoop there. Noli Mon, you know, someone that is not traditionally even on the Stunners roster, but given their personnel not being home yet, Noli was brought in to play this event with this squad. So not a lot of built-in connection with the middles. Certainly someone that has a lot of familiarity, a lot of familiarity with the Southern California teams in the gym when bodies are needed, but not officially someone that's been playing with the Stunners for too long.
Yeah, the Stunners, they have to put the ball in the court from the end line for their service pressure, right? They're just kind of a little lackadaisical right now, sort of just giving Seattle some free points here with those service errors.
Cody McCracken now with a big toss on the jump serve and hammers that one. Good pass, though, and Anguzola is going to get a swing, hard angle going cross court. Finds a nice spot there between Higashi and Silva in the cross.
Well, we've seen him attack that cross court a few times. Made a few errors, but that time finding the sideline for the point. It's a good angle. If I'm the Sasquatch, I want to move my block in and see if he can hit line.
Yeah.
Right? Test him a little bit.
Nice pass by Higashi. Middle connection deep in the corner. You know, early on I said I wanted to see a little bit more of Higashi, and we're saying his name a little bit more now, sometimes in the out of system, helping control a second ball opportunity. He's doing a solid job. Clark University, that's where he spent his time playing in college, recent grad.
Yeah, nice to see McDonald throw that into the quick as well.
Yeah. Solo down the line. Perfect pass by Anguzola. He gets the set. He gets the kill. Rewarded for his pass. Love to see that. Noli Mon rewarding his guy on the outside.
Well, that was a good scene. He went down sort of the line seam there into the middle of the court. McDonald didn't get his block developed where he wanted it, so Anguzola saw it and took advantage of it.
I think you owe some teammates donuts for that. Missing the court altogether.
Now that's the second Stunners jump serve that's nearly taken out our first official up there on the stand, so he's got a bit of a target on his back at the moment.
Nice pass by Shigikawa. Emery not finding the connection he wants. That's one of the tricks to being a lefty outside there. That ball's got to cross across your entire body to get into your hitting window, and as a non-native left side swinger, Emery struggling a little bit there. Cole unable to produce on that second attempt.
Yeah, a big part of this weekend for these teams that are thin on roster spots is to be aware of player management, right? How many jumps, how many swings they're taking. So it might not be a perfect lineup right now for either of these teams, but as they continue to work through it, they'll find the lineup that they need, and the players will still be fresh. Both teams have to play 3 matches this weekend. So
just 2 actually. So I'll address that after this play. But Santiago takes a big swing and ends that one quick. Game ball touch over here for Mr. Matt Prosser. So that's actually one of the things that we've done this season to mitigate the just all these players having to play so many matches. We've gone to 4 matches per day, every 3 hours, so 9, 12, 3, and 6, and they're only playing 2 matches each. So Stunners, I believe, are going to have an off day tomorrow, and then back at it Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Free ball coming back. West takes it, great pass, goes outside. Emery looks to put it away, and McCracken unable to come up with the dig.
Well, thanks for that clarification, Nick. Good to know that, player management and load will be a little bit easier on these guys. But Dylan Emery, that time getting a nice attempt and kill to fix the hitting error that he had a couple seconds ago.
West with a big jump serve, cuts it down the line, taken by Higashi, backside. McCracken gets a touch off the block of Emery there. Cody McCracken dialing it in a little bit. You know, there's a lot of upside in the game that we're seeing from McCracken. He's a little bit undersized as a right side swing, but if he's able to bring that power, kind of dial it in, get a little bit more court accuracy consistently, he's definitely got some potential to help this Sasquatch squad out. Dug by Higashi, deep down the line. Transition opportunity for Silva, takes advantage of Shigikawa.
Well, Sasquatch continuing to find Silva wherever he is on the court, front row or back row. That time in transition, they haven't been running that play a lot throughout this match, but keeping them close and within striking distance. Silva out of the back row that time.
McDonald going to try to extend this rally a little bit more. Finds Emery out of system. Jair is the go-to. Rolled over the top. Silva scoops it. Jair's taking it. Free ball opportunity coming. Outside is the option, and Moy deep into the corner. Number 3 might be small in stature, but big in swing. Great kill.
A big swing from the new left-sided hitter for Sasquatch, going against the block, not afraid of it, and driving that ball to the corner nicely.
(10-9) now for Sasquatch, finding another lead once again. Mon goes to Beamer and says, let's even the load a little bit. 10-10.
Nice to see that quick set get thrown into Shane Beamer. He's a weapon for the Stunners, number 3 in black. Got to get him activated and involved offensively. Not rely on Hilling and Jair Santiago quite as much in set number 3 here.
Mon attacking the line. No touch there. Wasn't sure if we were going to see one. Sends that one just high and long. Nice pass by Higashi. Get a good opportunity, but Moy on the right, unable to convert. Higashi once again, but this time, that's what I wanted to see last time. When you get that good of a pass, get your middles involved, in a nice set from McDonald to find Gallahan there.
Yeah, really well played that time by Sasquatch. They could have used that in set number 1.
Yeah.
Right? Set number 3, it's still 3 out of 5. They have their opportunities, but a long mountain to climb for them if they want to come back and try and win this match in 5.
Shigikawa in system pass. Jair Santiago in system swing. Thumps that ball down the line. Sasquatch never stood a chance.
Jair denting the floor on that one. Just getting after it with no regard for anybody on the other side in the white jersey.
I want to say a big shout out and thank you, the Pierce Sports Center, for once again hosting us. But man, if you're going to break the floorboards like that, I'm gonna have to get a security deposit over here. Float by Emery. Backside once again. McCracken high line. That is a beautiful swing using a lot of that verticality and that power that we've been talking about. Huge swing.
Yeah, McCracken showing some strength there in his arm. Going high over the block, some good heat.
Substitution now. This is going to be Ramon Jackson returning once again as a serving substitution for Pat Gallahan. Right after this serve, you can expect to see this substitution undone and the return of number 4 in the lime green, Damian Higashi. Backside set for Santiago, and man, it feels like clockwork at this point. The man is untouchable.
Jair just contacting the ball at a different level than the blockers, really getting after it, hitting it nicely. Good pace on the ball and finding the open court for the point.
Hand pass by Moy Moy. Over the top by Cole. Emery looking for an attempted swing, but Anguzola sends it over as a free ball. Set to the outside now, and Silva swings through Santiago. Santiago late going over the net. Interesting to see that Cole, you know, we just talked about roster management. Cole, who's been playing outside, one of the things they talked about is his ability to play any position, and is currently slotted in at the middle. Seeing some success thus far. We'll keep an eye on it. Nice swing by McCracken on the service line. And Anguzola denied the double block of Cullen McDonald.
That all started from the McCracken jump serve. That's one of the best serves we've seen from the Seattle side all morning. They're going to need to put some pressure on the Stunners' pass if they want to come back and win this set.
Another big toss, which means another aggressive serve, and you know, it's tough to see success back to back. That run will be cut short, but at least he got one. And just a quick update, after this match at noon, we're going to be live again with, that'll be the Utah Stingers taking on our second newest team, the Colorado Kraken. So you won't want to miss that. And we've got 2 phenomenal matches this afternoon at 3 o'clock. The Las Vegas Ramblers take on Southern Exposure. And at 6 o'clock, our last match of the night is going to be the LA Blaze taking on the Texas Tyrants. Quick set into the middle by Cole, taken by Santiago. Now the D-ball option, and he swings through Silva. Kill for the Stunners.
Great transition opportunity that time for Jair Santiago and the Stunners, taking advantage of just one blocker up with Silva. Jair scores that point.
If you aren't already, be sure to check us out on Instagram at NVA USA. Check us out on TikTok at the same. We're also on YouTube if you're probably watching it there. If not, you might be watching it on our app or at NVAUSA.com. All our options to catch live stream action all weekend long. Anguzola comes across, unable to come up with that one.
Great spot to tip the ball to if you're watching from home, especially against the Stunners. Bit of a campfire defense working effectively. This is Silva's jump serve.
Back set, Santiago managed the swing. Punch dig there by Silva. Moy Moy goes and swings big, finds the triple block abuse once again. Undeterred. And that's going to take us to our technical timeout.
One of the tricky things when you're blocking against a shorter hitter, right? You're used to going really high, going against bigger hitters. Get your hands nice and low and over, right? Yep. Don't show them your forearms, don't show them your elbows. Just get your hands straight over low, and then you should be able to get that block back down to the floor.
Certainly the case, and one of the things that I find as a blocker, and you might really agree or vehemently disagree, we'll see, but you know, I find myself when I'm blocking against those smaller guys, the key is really go early, because I find myself, if you're coming up late, that's where your hands are not yet over the net, and just like Jair Santiago, that previous swing, struggling to do so, that's going to hit forearms and funnel down.
Yeah, the timing obviously is very important. It's one of the keys of blocking, whether or not you're early or late. I think it's all going to come down to getting your hands over the net and just meeting the ball with your hands as the hitter makes contact with it.
Really is. There it is. More high-level advice from one of the best middle blockers in the game, Matt Prosser.
Sasquatch has done a nice job putting pressure on the Stunners here. They're up by 1 here, halfway through set number 1, and Anguizzola answers with a nice line attack, what we were talking about earlier, Nick.
Yeah.
That time being able to turn it down the line and scoring that point to tie us at 16 points each.
It's funny you challenged, you said, what can they take some more of that angle, see if he's able to hit that line, and I think that got answered pretty quickly.
Well, again, the matchup, so credit to the Stunner setter to realize what the block matchup was against his hitters, and then exposing that one by going to the left side to Anguizzola.
Jump serve, tight pass, taken by McDonald, connected over the top. Noli goes to West, but the one-on-one Cole is showing his prowess as a blocker in the middle.
Wow. Rarely seen, we see Jair Santiago get a dig on defense. However, the Stunners aren't able to take advantage of it. That's set a tiny bit too tight, and McCracken able to stop it. And sorry, Callahan able to stop it.
Cole,
to get the block.
number 9, yep. And then he hammers a serve home, a dump attempt. Ooh. Net from Noli Mon as he pushed that one over the net. Once again, this is what I love. If there was a disagreement.
Now, if I'm the coach, I would actually use a challenge here because it's going to slow down the momentum. So I think this is a good challenge. The call on the court is a net violation by Noel, the setter for Stunners, right?
Yeah, and they asked him, Noli, did you net? And from what I could hear from here, it sounded like he said he didn't, but he also wasn't defending it, so I don't think this was any hill he was willing to die on. Sometimes the hard part is when the ball might be what actually causes the net going over. Sometimes that ricochet or that move causes an inherent net, so you might have felt that you touched it or something like that, and you just really don't know. So this is kind of an interesting usage.
One of the reasons why we have the video check system, the challenge system, get the call correct, but also from a game management standpoint, this is almost as if it's a free timeout right now for the Stunners, right? They're down right now by 2. We'll get the answer here on this challenge, but I do like it. So hopefully it's like a pseudo timeout can result in a point.
Or there's
maybe
confirmation.
Right?
So Seattle Sasquatch currently winning the challenge game. They were successful on theirs, Stunners unsuccessful here, but like you said, down 2 points, that's not a bad place because they still have 2 more challenges even on a loss. So it acts as kind of a bit of a timeout, calms everything down. Nice serve by Cole out of the challenge. Tip over the top. Picked up by McCracken outside. Moy tips over the top. Santiago, he gets a touch and a kick dig on the turn block there by Noli Mon. Anguizzola unable to track it down, and that's going to be another point. Sasquatch opening up a 3-point lead.
Yeah, credit to them. I mean, they're putting pressure on the Stunners from the inline right now. The serving from Cole has really been strong, and the Stunners are out of system offensively, so not able to produce those points and get that side out that they need.
Interesting to see this little kind of tech sub here going with Cole to the middle. And you're just seeing so much productivity. You don't want to lose him, but if he wasn't having the best touch on the outside, but they want him on the court, and so they get him in the middle, and he's having a heck of a set here.
Right, and a great serve down the line. But listen, for Cole, he's got to be on the court for Seattle. So it's about finding those puzzle pieces and where to line them up. Whether or not he's in the middle or the outside, as long as he can serve from the inline right here, it's going to help his team stay in this match against the Stunners.
Man, I got to be honest, watching this team continue to progress, just even set to set to set, it's pretty exciting. We were not sure what to expect, and obviously this is not a Stunners team at full power by any capacity, but in that same notion, this is not a full Sasquatch roster either. So, there's adding Matt West to any team, I don't know if fans at home can really understand. He was back in the NVA playing with the Stunners back in 2018 and 19. He's one of the best setters in the world for a reason.
Well, it'll be interesting and exciting to see all these teams come back in full strength throughout the season.
Now Sasquatch really putting the Stunners behind the 8 ball with the service pressure like you stated. Cole leading the charge here.
Yeah, and right now the Stunners are staring at possibly losing this set and going to game number 4. Can't get a side out right now.
The pressure continues. Free ball coming back. Cole takes it. Back set kind of forced here to Silva. Tips into the front, but picked up by Shigikawa. Nobody home to help out the third touch. Cole is a man on a mission from the service line right now. Be curious to see if we see Matt Hilling step in as a outside substitution at any point here. Emery able to get a piece of that one. Middle attack from West, and there it is. That's the importance of a good in-system pass. Emery able to stave that one off, and West getting his boys fired up.
Yeah, credit to Cole right there. What a service run, the best one we've seen of the match so far. Couple aces, couple points. Stunners finally able to work themselves out of it, but find themselves in quite a hole at the moment.
Jump serve by West. Great pass by Silva. D-ball option. McCracken swings high. Antonio Nguzola falling backwards just to make sure that ball is out, really getting his feet to the back line.
Good, clean, disciplined defense that time from the Stunners, not playing a ball that was going out of bounds. Nobody in the net on the block. So they need a few more of those plays to even get close enough for a tie here in set number 3, Matt.
Good pass by Silva. All the way out. Moy swinging deep, gets the reset off the block. Chopped over the top. McDonald tries to help it out. Higashi keeps it alive. Gallahan gets the mistouch and does not send that one over. That's going to be a timeout called on the side of Sasquatch. If there's anyone that's going to, really consistently get back there and apply the same service pressure that we saw from Cole, I would say it's Nick West. And you love to see the two middles being the guys that are applying so much of that pressure.
Yeah, not always what you expect to see from the middles, but, at this level, yeah, strong jump serving from both middle attackers is expected, right? Yeah. You got to be able to score points for your team, regardless of your position on the court. From the inline, put pressure on the other team, make your serves in, give yourself a chance to score on your blocking defense.
And this is going to be one of those interesting gut checks. I mean, Sasquatch finding themselves with a 5-point lead is something that they have yet to see in their NVA career. So, defending that lead is certainly something that sometimes is easier said than done.
Definitely.
Especially with some guys that can game like these Stunners. So.
Definitely.
Now up by 3. I like the timeout. See what they can do. Good pass by Silva. Opportunity on the outside. Soars that one long. And this is honestly one of those difficulties with the current situation. When you look at the rotation that the Sasquatch is in, they have a front row setter. So that means McDonald is one of your offensive options. But then they only have Gallahan and Moy. But Pat Gallahan going to be subbed out here for Bailey. Kind of addressing exactly what my concern was there. See if they can maybe create a little bit more of an offensive opportunity here with Bailey. Moy's had some success producing, but again, as an undersized guy, it's always a bit of an uphill battle for someone like him. West hammers that one option here straight up. McCracken goes with a big swing off the top. Nguzola on his horse, but unable to track that one down. A heroic effort there from the Stunners back line.
Definite credit to the back row effort there for the Stunners, but well played by Seattle. That was a big serve, right?
Yeah.
Fought off the pass, was out of system. McDonald went with the bump set, right? And able to score the point. They needed it now at 23-20. Seattle just 2 points away from winning their first set in the NVA, Nick.
McDonald going down, taken by Emery. Shane Beamer. This is why he's one of the best in the business. He does such a fantastic job of staying open to his setter. What that means is his chest is still facing the setter, gives Noliman a target early to set that ball in, and man, Shane Beamer's got a hammer to push that point to the ground. Backside, Beamer gets the block touch and sends that one down. That's a point for the Stunners.
Well, you're saying Shane Beamer's name a lot right now. That's a great block, you're right. And technically, when he's attacking, keeping that window open, his shoulder back, arm ready to hit, being very effective right now. And Stunners trying to make a comeback here.
Down by just one. Pipe set to Silva. Dug by Shigikawa. Little tight. Oh, no. That's just a tragic misconnection there for the Stunners. That ball's too tight from Shigikawa. A back row setter in Noliman having some trouble getting there and getting hands on that. Once again, guys getting tangled up at the net. We've seen it a couple times this set. And this is going to be set point, 24-22 for the Sasquatch. Whew. Close one there, watching that out. 23-24. Emery tries to bring the Stunners back in and keep the story alive.
Big moment here for both teams.
Float serve down the line. Taken by the middle, outside, Silva puts it away, and that's it. Seattle Sasquatch with their first set win in the NVA. Wow, great to see there, and we're gonna go for it.
We're going for it. That was a nice team effort from Seattle. You saw contributions from everybody throughout that entire set. Stunners just got down a little too many points there in the middle and weren't able to fully recover from it.
You know, something that I love so much about volleyball is the way that the match progresses tells a story. We've talked a little bit early on in the entire match. Higashi, what can this libero do? Third set, comes around, starts passing very well. Gets a couple big digs down the line, starts that transition. Silva has been an absolute anchor for this team on the outside, number 7, putting ball away after ball. And then we see Cole, maybe not being as successful as he might like, gets into the middle, 2 terminal blocks, gets a huge serving run, and just everybody on this team. McCracken is absolutely the firecracker on the right, a little bit of a coin flip, but he's coming up big when Seattle needs it.
Absolutely, Nick. I mean, contributions from every player in every position, which is what you need, especially when you're going to be a little bit of the underdog role playing against the Stunners. So, you know, it's good to see. They still have a long way to go. Trying to pull off a reverse sweep, that's very tricky to do, right? But if they can continue at this level, right, they will give themselves an opportunity here. For the Stunners, they really got to pick up their passing, okay? That run from Cole at the end line throughout that set really presented the Stunners with some trouble. They weren't able to pass the ball well enough. Meanwhile, their defense, they're digging balls right at the very end of that set. We saw a great dig, right? But when you're the libero and any young libero watching at home, dig the ball 2 to 3 feet off the net. So your setter can still run quick, but still get his feet to the ball, right? It's a little ticky-tack, but really that's what it comes down to. 2 to 3 feet off the net with that dig, and the Stunners might have won that point.
It certainly is the case, and something that, you know, the setters and middles are expected at this level is 8 feet off the net. They're expected to be an offensive weapon. Perfect passes don't happen at this level of play anymore, so that means you have to adapt. And Shane Beamer and Nick West are 2 of the most lethal middles in this league. They're more than capable. Noliman will find them high, and man, their hitting window is huge.
It is, but the ball's got to be in the right spot. Noliman's got to be able to get his feet to the ball, some space to work around and move and operate and get that set right into the middles.
Certainly is the case. Now, if we go back and look at Sasquatch, what's gonna make this happen again? Because I feel like sometimes when you talk about an expected level of play, that felt like a couple of contributions that may be very difficult to replicate, especially that service run from Cole.
Right. Well, they played nearly a perfect game, and they're going to have to do the exact same thing this time if they want to win set number 4. I'd expect to see a bigger response from Stunners in set number 4. However, Seattle's got to play a nearly perfect game to win this set and to force a 5th set tiebreaker.
I totally agree, and one of the things that I think is worth noting, we said Jair Santiago's name a lot less that match, or that set. He was slowed down a little bit because they weren't in system as well. He wasn't getting as many one-on-one opportunities on the backside there. They weren't finding him as many options, and there was a lot more free balls coming back. So I think that really helped Seattle manage the pace of the game. Jair was significantly more positive in his point productivity from set 2 to set 3.
So I think that's a result of Matt Hilling's setting in game number 2 versus Noel setting in set number 3, where Noel went a little more quick and Matt Hilling went a little more to Jair.
Yeah, definitely the case. Interesting to another adjustment to the roster here on the side of Seattle. Looks like they've pulled McCracken and are going with Bailey on the right. One-handed set across the net from Hilling to Beamer. Sends it over. And Silva looks for his opportunity and scores beautifully.
back row defense continues to be a little bit of a struggle for the Stunners. They're a little just on their heels, not really ready to move. We see a lot of tips falling into the middle of the court. That time, Matt Hilling maybe could have gotten that ball if he was down and ready on his toes, looking for the junk through the block that time.
Moy seeing if he can get another little service run started here. Good pass by Emery, but that means Jair Santiago is the option. Dug by Higashi, and it's going to be live. Hilling goes quick back, tight set, swung lefty by Santiago. McDonald comes out of the back row and puts that one over the net, so that's going to be a back row attack. Jair Santiago with a nice lefty swing to keep that rally alive.
Never seen the left hand from Jair like that before, but yeah, good to see the range that he's developed, keeping the ball in play.
Flow down the line, taken by Moy. Backside, McCracken with the big swing. Silva swings, Emery doesn't come up with it. The hustle play, that's one of those things that we talk so much about, and we were just mentioning, how do they win? Those kind of hustle plays, they couldn't go the way of the Stunners that last set.
Well, credit to Moy with that dig, laying all the way out, and then Silva going on two with the nice attack over, catching Emery off guard and by surprise to score the point.
Beamer floats. It's passed by Higashi, middle option, but Cole able to battle through Nick West.
West just read blocking there and almost got Cole, but for Seattle, they've got to activate him through the middle. He's scoring points from the inline, involve him in the offense more, and let him swing.
Oof, McCracken the firecracker back there. When he explodes, you never know what's going to happen. Still impressed by Higashi, the libero, number 4 for Seattle Sasquatch, wearing that lime green jersey.
Haven't seen a lot of serves go over to the libero from Seattle, but with Jair serving here, look for the seam between the outside hitter and middle back position.
Silva swings, dug by Shigikawa. Back set from Anguzola. Emery unable to find it over the net. Stunners looking a little aggravated and disheveled with some of their points just not able to go their way right now in the chaos. And a team like Seattle, I think they're a little more used to living in that world.
Well, they're playing dangerously, right? The little fortuitous bounce off the foot there. But right now, playing just a little bit stronger with some sense of urgency as well.
And there's the veteranship of Matt Hilling. Goes up, sees that ball's going over, able to get a handle and forces Cole into the net. Draw the foul as much as it can be drawn in volleyball. Anguzola, big serve. High ball in the middle of the court, it's a good spot to be. Dug off the head, it's got to go now. This is third contact. Setter McDonald chips it over. Tight ball, Hilling dumped deep into the corner. McDonald backside to the D-ball. And that one is found in. McCracken finds that deep, deep line.
A great swing by McCracken in transition. Again, Seattle just playing a little harder brand of volleyball than the Stunners.
I love it. They do have something to prove, and they're playing like
something
it right
to prove, but also nothing to lose.
Yeah. All right, Cole, all eyes on you. Can you answer back? Unfortunately not, but we'll see him on the service line probably one more time this set, so he'll have another opportunity. But like we said, that was one of those big X factors there in the third.
Yeah, I mean, still a long way to go here in set number 4, but the Stunners, they've got to tighten up their game a little bit. They need to score some points from the inline, some quick either aces or some big blocks for those quick points.
See, a great question in the YouTube chat right now. The Stunners changing setters a lot. Why is that? obviously I can't know the exact answer, but in my discussions with the team beforehand, I think where it really comes down to is trying to figure out there's three big factors right now. Who should be playing outside? Also, Matt Hilling dealing with some jet lag coming from the other side of the world less than 48 hours ago. He's certainly trying to get back on top of his time zones, feeling 100%. Also, I think the team is kind of just trying to figure out how they plan to play the game for later on this weekend. They want to make sure that they've got the right approach and that they know who they can rely on. They're going to be playing Sunday afternoon and taking on Team Freedom, someone that is certainly a threat. So if Sunners don't have kind of a game plan heading into that match, they could be in a really tough spot, and they don't want to start the way they started the 2021 season. Jair Santiago putting a little exclamation point down, throwing that ball to the ground. Nice point for the Stunners.
Nick, you make a couple of real great points there. Player management, what's the right lineup? What's going to put them in the best situation to win, right?
I can tell you what's not, and that's serving ball after ball into the net.
It's not a good strategy if you do want to win, serving into the net. At least get it over the net, and if it goes out of bounds to the inline, that's better than missing it into the net.
Yep, over the net in the court. Nice platform by Anguizzola. Santiago blocked back into himself by McCracken.
McCracken with a great solo move right there for a stuff down.
Really sealing that angle well. We had a front row view for that move, and that was awesome. Deep serve line. Moy making his name said and known once again. Bit of a fire plug there. We saw him with that early dig that kept a rally alive. Now comes in with the deep ace.
Right now, Seattle playing well together.
Yeah.
They're warm, they're fired up. They've gotten a little taste of victory, winning set number 3, and they're right back to a 3-point advantage in set number 4.
Middle tip. Bailey sends it back. A little tip to keep it alive by Beamer. Emery swinging in his natural state. Little dig by Higashi, but a little discussion about, that's one of those things that's going to be, I think, the biggest eye-opener as you get to the higher levels of volleyball. Calls tend to be a lot looser, let the guys play. A little bit of an interesting move by Beamer, but on the first contact, you're very rarely going to see anything called.
Yeah, especially at this level. It's more about keeping the ball in play, touch on the block. The first contact, as long as the ball continues to be played, that ball could have been played as well.
Yep, that's one of the only non-FIVB standard rule that we run in the NVA is ceilings are live. In a perfect world, not something we have to manage, but for now we want to give the players the opportunity. We're a firm believer here that we want to see more volleyball, less play stoppage, so anything that would do that. Nice dig by Anguizzola, keeping it alive. Jair Santiago hitting Matt Hilling on the way. Silva now swinging into the triple block, and the story of the day is the inability of the OC Stunners to get a triple block to slow down the offense of number 7, Peter Silva.
The 3-man blocking philosophy is good. They have to utilize it. However, they just got to tighten it up a little bit better, and they're 1 for, I think, 6 on their 3-man block opportunities.
Bailey with a jump serve, goes deep, a good pass. Middle opportunity. McDonald read it so quick that there was no pop, and he just kind of let the ball fall right off his hand.
Well, credit to Shane Beamer for working hard, being up and available for Matt Hilling to feed through the middle. That's what the Stunners need to do. They have to incorporate their middle attackers a little bit more, get those fast points on offense.
You never have to question if these two middles for the Stunners are going to be up. They work hard every point, and that's definitely a big plus to their work ethic. Cole sends the ball over. Hilling goes to West, and there it is once again. Even when it's not a perfect pass, West finds the way.
Nick West showing some range in his attack, a little bit of a paintbrush, the rarely seen, rarely utilized off-speed paintbrush shot, but it falls. So 2 quick points through the middle for the Stunners now.
Deep breath there from Beamer. And Cole comes back in the middle, dug by Hilling, but an overpass means another opportunity, and that's another opportunity for Silva to get his name called out. That's another huge kill for number 7.
Yeah, Silva taking advantage of the opportunity and blasting it cross court off of the hands of Nick West. If I'm Jair Santiago, I want to move my block in a little bit and show Silva the opportunity to hit line and see if he can.
Yeah. Ace! McCracken finds it, and there's some aggravation on the side of the Stunners. Timeout called. Seattle Sasquatch potentially opening up with the first upset of the weekend in match number 1. Too soon? We'll see.
Maybe too soon. There's still a long way to go.
There
Trying to
is.
pull off that ever-elusive reverse sweep, as we call it, Nick. But right now, for the Stunners, they have to tighten up their passing. They got to stay positive. It's only halfway through this set. They're down by 4. They have chances to come back. Keep it positive. Work hard on defense, and side out at a high clip. Quit missing so many serves, and you're going to give yourselves a chance to win set number 4 and the match.
But hey, the missed serves on the side of the Stunners has not stopped. On the side of the Sasquatch, they are earning their points right now. If they're missing serves, it feels like, yeah, that was the guy that I want going for the serve. And the guys that are hitting their serves are the ones that are putting it in consistently. They're really playing to their roles and responsibility in their serving rotation. I love to see it. McCracken find one more controlled serve out of the timeout. They tried to ice you, keep this rally alive, give your guys a chance one more time. Good control, out of system coming. Free ball over on 2. Cole chops it back and misses it. Oh, that's a free ball.
A golden opportunity for the Sasquatch to earn another point. The Stunners passing just in complete disarray.
Yes.
They have got to talk about who's taking what seam, who to expect what serve to come at them. Got guys going both directions now. Here's Jair. See if he can get a couple of aces or just get the ball in play to give the Stunners a chance to score some points.
Chopped over the top. There's the off-speed battle by Silva. Dump comes over. West handles it. Into the middle once again. West is dug by McDonald. Outside to Silva. Silva swings low, and for the first time this match, it feels like Silva is human. Unfortunate swing into the net, but the man can only be so perfect.
Yeah, one of the times where he needed to better the ball, that set not right in the window that he needed it to be in, blasting it into the net. Take a little bit off, just throw it back to the corner. Make sure it gets to the back half of the court and give yourself a chance on blocking defense.
Couldn't be more right, Matt. And that's what we talk about, management all the time. Big swing, perfect pass. Who's the option? Silva. That's going to be a net called. This is one of those tricky ones. He was certainly in the net. The question is the ball down first? Silva does not even begin to contest, and that's a quick indicator. He knows what happened, but Stunner's more than happy to take that point.
Well, a little close play on that one with some contact underneath the net. A great pass from Sasquatch, but that set just a little bit too tight for Silva that time. 2 straight hitting errors for number 7 in white.
Ooh, and then bailed out by a missed serve for Santiago.
See, now I think that's a bad miss, Nick. You just scored 2 points. Keep the ball in play. Allow your team to score a point on defense. Doesn't have to be an ace. Put the ball in play and give yourselves a chance on blocking defense.
See if Silva can get a little magic. He's been kind of, he does a smaller jump serve, not super explosive, but very well controlled. And this time was controlled well into the net. That's a little bit of a broadcaster curse. My bad. When you're watching this one back later, I'll take the responsibility.
At least you owned it, Nick.
Hey.
As any good broadcaster does.
Yep. A little bit of a 2-man serve receive now going on between Silva and Higashi, apologies. That's going to get exactly what he wants. West gives an easy free ball back. D-ball from McCracken, squeaks it by, but it's a back row attack. We're seeing Seattle getting a little disheveled right now.
The Stunners really got away with one there.
And that's going to be a timeout called. That's one of those hard things when you kind of, I always think of when I think of Stunners and the Utah Stingers. If things are kind of in disarray and you feel like you're throwing them a good right hook, the problem is there's so much experience on those teams. Sometimes it feels like you almost wake the sleeping beast, and they're ready to battle in that situation.
Well, yeah, absolutely, Nick. I mean, you've got very experienced players on the Stunners and also the Stingers as well. We'll see them later today. But for the Stunners right now, they do need to respond to this pressure that they're getting from the Sasquatch side. You're seeing it now, even though they're still down by well, it's tied actually. So they've fought back and made up that ground that they lost early on in this set. So can they maintain it? That's really the key now. Can they maintain it and get out of here with a 4-set victory?
Yeah. Okay, now this is going to be interesting. This is something that makes my head hurt. So Pat Gallahan comes in as an outside sub for Moi Moi. I'm curious if we see Cole slide back into the outside position a little bit here. So they're going to be some out of system play happening, and there's the two-man serve receive getting picked apart. Anguizzola does a great job identifying one of those seams you've been talking about all day, Matt. Takes huge advantage. Point for the Stunners.
A two-man serve receive at this level of volleyball is pretty risky. Getting a challenge here from the Seattle side.
So they're challenging a foot fault. I have happened to had a great angle. There was no foot fault. The interesting thing here is there's a blue line right next to our official black line. At the same time, like we said earlier, I don't hate this. Sasquatch is struggling a little bit to kind of answer back. So even if it's a missed challenge, it's going to give them an opportunity to chat. The team can kind of bring it together. But I can speak quite confidently too with our seat. Anguizzola's not foot faulting here.
Yeah, that's why we call you Eagle Eye Nick England.
Hopefully, you know the famous last words before foot fault called. Otherwise, I'll appreciate your, your determination that the eagle eyes are turned on.
I, however, did not have the proper angle to witness that possible foot fault, so I won't speak to it. However, it was a good serve nonetheless. Found the open court. Again, I was talking about the two-man serve reception for Sasquatch and how it's a bit of a risk, right? You have now Cole and also McCracken that could step in and pass, so you could really have 4 passers across, which to me, even if it's not your best passers, it's better to have 4 than just 2.
And there's the verification coming through. Anguizzola, no foot fault. No surprises there, but that means that Sasquatch still has 2 challenges left.
And it also means that you have a new nickname, Eagle Eye Nick England.
Eagle Eye England, the Triple E?
Bingo.
We'll go with it. Yes. That's a lot of pressure not to miss, miss my sight there. High ball goes to the outside. Cole now on the outside, goes off the head of West. Ricochets all over the place. Shigikawa keeps it alive. Emery swinging high and misses that one in transition. And you love to see, again, we talk about the experience of these players and their ability to be interchangeable in a variety of roles. Cole goes back, finds a good point on the outside there.
Cole just hammering that ball on the left side. The ball pinballing up in the rafters. Emery not able to keep the ball in play for the Stunners, so a nice side out to the Sasquatch there.
Emery picked on down the line, and Cole, is he back on his horse for the second serving run of the set?
Maybe, and he picked the right target down the line, going after Dylan Emery. Definitely a serving target for Sasquatch as they've served at him most of the match. And really for the Stunners, there's nothing that they can do. They can't hide him, they can't really adjust it. Just got to fight it off. Get the arms out early and pass the ball.
Fans at home, if you want to send him your energy, make sure to hit that like button down below. Share what we got going on here to grow the game in the U.S. Sasquatch dump, there's the point. He surely feeling your support there. Cole is an absolute force from the service line. But alternatively, it's done something pretty interesting here because Gallahan is the slotted outside, but we see him now with basically 2 middles on the front row. So expect Silva getting involved, or potentially D-ball's going to McCracken to give some options offensively. Set from Nick West, floated but dug by Cole. D-ball option. Ooh, goes short into the net. McCracken not able to deal that one.
Stunners getting off the hook there a little bit with that one. But you're right, Nick, a little creative on the front row lineups here for the Sasquatch side. You have 2 middles now. Bailey going to hit on the left. Gallahan in the middle. Front row setter that the Stunners have to be ready for him to dump the ball too as well.
West hammers the ball, dug by Silva. Bailey goes up. Anguizzola keeps it alive. D-ball option here coming to Jair. And he swings through, but dug by Shane Beamer with a great cover. But there's the advantage to having 2 middle blockers next to each other. A very sound form block by number 16, Bailey, and number 10, Gallahan. Sasquatch takes the point.
Great block by Sasquatch. Good discipline, too. Shoulder to shoulder. Jair had nowhere to go on that one.
McDonald now, see if he can get a little run started late in the fourth set. Targeting Anguzola. High ball over Emery. Doug and McDonald goes outside. Bailey manages swing, and the experienced block of Matt Hilling deflects that one back. Point for the OC Stunners.
Well, fortunately for the Stunners, Beamer and Hilling pairing up nicely to get that two-man block. However, Dylan Emery having a hard time offensively to find the floor with his attacking. Stunners really need him to kind of contribute and get some kills here when he's in the front row.
Yeah, certainly the case. Now we see Moy Moy returning, and that's going to get Gallahan out of the back row. Free ball coming. Higashi sends it. Taken by Beamer. Oh, one-handed dig there, keeping alive. See if they can do anything more than a free ball, but not the case. Shigikawa puts Stunners back in, and Jair Santiago once again the option. Matt, I want to call back to something you talked about earlier. The big thing when you're going one-on-one against Jair Santiago, you cannot be late blocking to the pin. Get there early, take away as much court as possible, and let him swing around you.
Absolutely. Maybe show him a little line, dive into the angle, or vice versa. Show him angle, then dive back into the line. Play some games, test his vision.
Silva, nice pass going to the left. And now McCracken swings and catches Anguzola. That ball was surely going out. Matt Hilling less than pleased. Thinks that ball is way out. Anguzola sees a touch. Beamer confirming that he did in fact touch that.
On-court communication between the Stunners really not being very productive at the moment as that ball went off the defense and out, but a serve error really letting them off the hook right now.
Man, a good serve right there really just puts the onus to fix their situation on the Stunners. Moy Moy just lets them out a little bit easy there. Float by Emery. Gets the better part of Higashi. Good cover. Bumps that outside. Silva has to manage. Anguzola picks that up as the off blocker. Santiago swings lefty high chop. Silva's the selection once again, and it looks like a net there potentially from the Stunners.
Double contact called on that second hit there. I think that's the right call. Caught Anguzola up near his shoulders. Stunners not able to get it right. And right now, Seattle in charge of set number 4 here.
Little verbal warning coming down to Matt Hilling. A yellow card issued to number 18. You got to be mindful of how much you say on the court and the way in which you do it.
Family game here, Nick. But guys are stoked. It's intense, you know, competitors. Yep. Keep control of your emotions.
Santiago answers back, but net or antenna called. There is a discussion to be had. The call made by our line judge was that the swing hit the antenna. If that is in fact the call that stands after our discussion between the referees, Stunners already has green card in hand and is ready to issue a challenge. They disagree.
Now that time, Nick, I had a great angle on it, and I didn't see the ball make contact with the antenna, so maybe it was a blocker's finger.
Yeah.
Give the antenna a little tickle, but we do have it confirmed that ball's in.
Yeah.
No challenge necessary.
I agree with your assessment as well. I didn't see that antenna moving much, and I got to tell you, when Jair hits the antenna, you know it did.
Pretty much always, yeah.
Yeah.
So tense moments now, Matt. Nick, it's 21-21. 4 points away from either forcing a 5th set or winning in 4.
Float serve to from Shane Beamer. Backside to McCracken. McCracken battles, dug by Beamer. Santiago hammers the ball down the line, and it is dug but unable to be corralled back in by Silva.
A Big swing by Jair in transition. Stunners needed that one. They got a good dig out of the back row, kept the ball alive. Shane Beamer, one of their better servers, has been consistently putting the ball in play. So it's a good sign for the Stunners here.
They're +1 right now. They need one more to really create a nice buffer. Santiago gets, oh, he doesn't get it. I thought that one was in. That's going to go out, roll across the top of the net. And after the dig there by Hilling, a little miscommunication, who's going to take second ball?
One of those strange situations sometimes, Nick, when the setter digs the ball, the libero's off the court,
yeah.
Beamer served. No one really knows who should step in to set that second one.
Cody McCracken, jump serve.
That's
misses that one long.
You cannot miss your jump serve, Nick. Put it in play. Give your team a chance. Doesn't have to be an ace. You cannot miss right there.
Yeah, and the big thing is right now when we see long rallies happening, Sasquatch is really doing a good job converting. We're seeing miscommunication on the side of the Stunners, and when you don't play the point, it's just not going to go well for you. Santiago, big swing, nice pass by Moy Silva, goes up, block, covers himself. Another opportunity here, triple block, and he squeaks it through in true triple block fashion.
Once again, the triple block of the Stunners somehow doesn't develop just in the right position, and the Sasquatch can find it to get the ball to rattle through for the point.
I love that little reset mid-rally. Silva finds a nice kind of off-speed, covers himself, and gives an opportunity. Gallahan comes, Gallahan comes in now. Substitution in for Moy. I'm not sure that's allowed with the 1 in, 1 out. Officials not calling anything. There's a conversation right now. There's a 1 in, 1 out rule in the NVA, so the substitution has already been completed. So that will not be allowed. I wish I had a little more insight as to how this is resolved. So there it is being resolved. So that means that this substitution cannot be done. This is, this is that tricky part when you're coming back into the NVA. We're playing by FIVB rules, and some of those little intricacies that some of these teams that haven't played in a formal stage may not have a lot of experience with. So that inexperience catches up with Seattle Sasquatch right there. Bumps that high ball. Engizola tries to swing out, off block Doug. McDonald keeps it alive. McCracken swinging. Covered, but not well enough. That's going to be a point for the Stunners. Engizola gets his boys fired up.
Well, that's nice. Back-to-back blocks that time from the Stunners to bring them to match point. Meanwhile, Sasquatch calling a timeout, but however, for the Stunners, okay, not playing their best volleyball in the last 2 sets, okay? Yep. They've stayed close enough. They've been able to get Anguizola really came through nicely, got a good block right there when he needed it, and now they're at match point. So a chance for them to kind of figure it out and come right back with a good game plan to stop the next play, hopefully win the match in 4.
It really is. This is one of those tests of mettle that we'll see for both these teams. Once again, for fans at home, we appreciate everyone that is stopping by on this early Friday morning, hopefully starting your day off right, and giving you a way to kind of ease into your weekend where we're going to be bringing you volleyball all weekend long. We're in San Bernardino, California at the Pierce Sports Center. This is the NVA, the National Volleyball Association. If you haven't seen us before, make sure to check us out, subscribe to the channel, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, every social media platform you can imagine. We are here to make pro volleyball in the U.S. a mainstay, and we're excited to do it. You're watching the OC Stunners taking on Seattle Sasquatch. And you're watching Antonio Engizola missing an untimely jump serve. We call that a coach's point in this game. Seattle Sasquatch go 24-24 with potentially the scariest server on the back line. Cole, number 9. Sam Cole delivers a big one. Emery go ahead, free ball over, taken by McCracken. McDonald dumps. Shigikawa has to take the second. Moy into the hard angle, but picked up by Shigikawa. Now Angizola swings on a pipe, finds the tape, but does not find the court. Dylan Emery for sure wants the challenge. Green card raised up. And I like that challenge. If there's any doubt in your mind, you don't want to go down by 1 point. So this is where it becomes really important. We discussed early on, what do you challenge, what do you not? Right. And since you're managing 3 challenges across 4 sets, and it's not a per set basis, you've sometimes got to look down the road, and what felt like it was a 2-set win, 2 or 3 set win coming in for the Stunners, all of a sudden they're now in the dog days of set 4, and they're going to need those challenges.
Definitely. This is a perfect use of a challenge. Right now, the Stunners are in a bit of disarray. No one's bringing the team together. No one's talking positively. However, they do need to figure out what they have to do here. It would be very fortuitous for them if they're able to get this challenge in their favor. But right then, that missed serve from Anguizzola and then a hitting error could result in set point over to the Sasquatch.
And this one's crazy because it's advantage. It was 24-24. So whoever earns this point right here is going to have set advantage. And for the case of the Stunners, that's going to be match point.
Tense moments, Matt, for sure.
Matt, for anyone that doesn't know, Matt Prosser's day gig is, well, not day gig, but mainstay in broadcasting is working with the legendary Long Beach State University, where his counterpart is Matt Brown. Shout out to Matt. And so he's not just referencing me as himself.
Sorry, Nick.
It's okay.
I'll get it straight by Sunday evening.
Hey, appreciate that. We'll find it, but the call overturned, and that means OC Stunners with a very good call. Dylan Emery confident that ball was in. Challenge system coming into effect, and that right there is something that could change the outcome of the season later on. Winning this in 4 for the Stunners is worth an additional point, and after last year, they were fighting for all those points to get into playoffs. So
yeah, you're totally right, Nick.
That stuff really matters.
Absolutely, it does. And now it's match point to the Stunners. Their second chance at match point.
Nick West back there, he's had a pretty solid match serving thus far. We'll see if I don't curse him into serving the net here. Nice pass by Silva. And Silva gets the pipe in true fashion. Touch. Nope, ball is called in. Yeah, no disagreement there. Again, this is not the point in the game where you get everybody riled up on your team. And that's what I love about the challenge system. No one bothers arguing calls that they know are the right call.
Right.
Because otherwise it's just going to get challenged.
Absolutely.
Now we're tied up 25-25. Sasquatch forcing this one to go the distance. McDonald deep flow taken by Anguizzola. Outside to Emery. Dug by the libero. Beamer puts away the overpass. Oh no, Higashi unable to control that.
Shane Beamer showing his athleticism that time.
Yeah.
Getting his footwork down, being aggressive. The kid can fly, as you see some of the videos of that chess match that they play.
Oh, that was great.
That time Shane Beamer taking full advantage of it.
If you don't know what we're talking about, check out our Instagram and TikTok, a fun video put together by Nick West and Shane Beamer. Outside set. Oh, that's going to go through the pin, and that means the OC Stunners lock this down in 4. 27-25, securing themselves 2 points. Wow.
What a show from Sasquatch. I mean, really, what started out as a little bit of a question mark and a slow start out of the gate really responded nicely to win set number 3 and then a deuce set in set number 4. Credit to the team from Seattle, really starting to make some noise and like to see what they can do the rest of the season.
And again, you know, it's an interesting one for the knowledge that I have where I sit, knowing what's coming for some of these teams or what they're talking about and what you see at home. I've got to say, this makes me exceptionally optimistic about what Seattle's going to do. Knowing some of the pieces that they're looking to recruit, some of those bigger names, we've kept saying his name, Matt West, guys like that. You take the pieces that we've seen here today, number 7, Mr. Silva is having a heck of a debut. We saw Sam Cole, number 9, putting in a lot of contribution there. Even Mr. Cody McCracken on the right side just scoring some good points. So I like the core that we just saw.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though they didn't get the W this morning, still a moral victory, I think, to say that they can walk away from this match knowing that they just, pressured last year's champions to, a 4-game set in deuce games, and we're, 1 point away from going to a 5-set tiebreaker.
Yeah, and for anyone that's not too acclimated or used to seeing the OC Stunners, let me tell you, less than half of the normal starting roster was on the court there. So maybe only 2 or 3 pieces, the middle and the right side, is what you could say is going to be their final form. So if you're a little concerned that the gold medal team defending that, that medal this year, maybe they've fallen off, let me assure you they have not. And their big guys are still competing overseas in big matches. So that's going to be, there's going to be a lot of growth in that team still to be had.
Well, I mean, you're only as good as the team you have on that day, right? And we know that both of these teams aren't at full power, and we'll see that throughout the weekend as some, pieces are missing from every team because it is early on in the season. And like we talked about before the match, each team has some players that are coming over from previous, responsibilities overseas.
Certainly the case. We're going to take a quick look. The match following us here up at noon is going to be the Utah Stingers, one of the perennial powerhouses here in the NVA, taking on our second newest team, the Colorado Kraken. Colorado, again, we haven't seen too many names there returning from other teams in the league. JJ Rosa, the libero, will be coming over from Chicago Untouchables. Besides that, expect to see a lot of new faces. On the side of the Utah Stingers, one of the biggest surprising moves in the offseason. Outside hitter Jake Langlois has transitioned over to the Texas Tyrants to join Gianluca Grasso on the outside, creating one of the most dynamic 1-2 punches in the league. So that'll be really exciting to watch that match unfold.
Don't forget the return of Russell Holmes for the Utah Stingers, and a new addition to them, Sean Dennis, also in the middle.
Yep. For those that don't know, Sean Dennis is formerly a Las Vegas Ramblers on a 1-year loan over to the Utah Stingers. They are unable to see the return of some of their middles from years previous. They needed to find a way to kind of shore up some holes in the middle, and that's where Russ Holmes returning to the court. Sean Dennis making a 1-year exodus from the Ramblers. So definitely be interesting to see what the big man can do over there. Definitely. But, we're going to see names like Paul Clark. We're going to see Stormfa Ngata Tufunga. We're going to see George Mencia on the right, as well as there's some rumors that Yo Slater Kala will be making his appearance with that team. If you're not familiar, he is a Puerto Rican guy that has had quite a bit of experience with some big matches. So excited to see him make that debut in the NVA. Also, Inovel Romero on the left side over there, opposite of Storm. So a lot of mainstays in the Stinger rosters will definitely be right back. So excited to see that. I think we've got a sideline interview getting prepped right now. That's going to be Jair Santiago, the man of the match for the OC Stunners, alongside our new sideline reporter, Noah Chast. Noah, take it away.
Yeah, we're here with Jair Santiago. He is the MVP of the match. You had 18 kills. They couldn't really seem to stop you. What was working for you?
Just focusing on what I had to do and just bring what I had to the table, and that's about it. Just come in and play my best. So, yeah.
The Sasquatch, they made things tight, stole that third set, and were down to the wire in the fourth. How were you guys able to pull it out?
Honestly, we're just trying to focus on getting our passes, our defense up, and just go rip every time.
Well, you certainly ripped it. Congrats on the win. We'll send it back to you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys. That's one of those, knowing Jair, that's one of those looks of glad we won, but not particularly thrilled in which the manner it happened. And I understand that. It's a relatable sentiment. But that's going to do it for here. Myself, Matt Prosser, Noah Chast on the sideline, and Ira Thor, who's going to be joining us later on today. Up next at noon, Utah Stingers, Colorado Kraken. We'll see you then.